I know I said that I was making Ripley's space helmet next, but a lot of my schedule is determined by when paint dries. So today I'm making Darth Maul's lightsaber, yet after the whole slice and dice. Out of cardboard! What? For this build, I used these standard shop tools, a cardboard tube, a mouthwash cap, craft foam, washers of various sizes, knurled screws or blanking caps, an electric candle, an LED, hot glue, super glue, sanding implements, safety gear, and a kyber crystal, bled from a Jedi struck down at Malachor. Or purchased online from my Etsy store, because I don't think Malachor does overseas shipping. First, I cut a length of cardboard tube in an incredibly safe manner. People always ask me where I get my supplies, so this was found in an alley behind my apartment. Money's kinda tight right now, guys. Then I sanded the writing off the top of the mouthwash lid, as well as the lines from the sides. I had to do this in stages because the friction will melt the plastic. I also drilled a hole in the top. Then for the emitter, I made a stack of washers and some other random parts, including this wooden hole saw offcut, and held them all together with a screw. Although I did use some super glue in there just for good measure. Oh, I also filled in the screw head with squadron putty because they don't use Phillips head screws in Star Wars. All them spaceships are held together with pop rivets. After that, I super glued strips of craft foam to the mouthwash lid, and then finally I hot glued the whole assembly to the end of the tube. I used rubber O-rings for the bands in the middle, but you can use craft foam, because honestly, the plumbing department of any hardware store is just a nightmare. Well, one I use anyway. As you can see, this would have been a lot easier if my finger hadn't lost a battle with the car door. That was fun. That was fun for me. I built the crystal chamber out of a section of PVC pipe and the housing to an electric candle because I thought when, you're showing the interior, it kinda looks just techie enough. Or at least it will once it's painted. It was a bit too snug, so I cut a notch out of the side of the housing using my rotary tool. That's a tension fit, it's not glued in there. I set up the paint rig and spray painted it black. While the paint dried, I built a crystal chamber using one of my red kyber crystals and an LED. Now that the saber is dry, I masked off the black areas and painted it silver. So this metallic color is a little duller than I normally like my sabers to be, but I'm referencing the Clone Wars version, which has more of a flat, dull aluminum color. Alright, while that dries, I gotta thank some people. All of these people are supporting me on Patreon, so I'm just gonna let that scroll while I talk for a bit. So when I first started making lightsabers, it never occurred to me to make glowing blades because I was making them for fan films. I make them out of wood so that the actors would actually be able to clash with them, and then I do the blade in post. But a lot of people who watch these videos to build a prop for their cosplay costume want to know how to make the blades glow in real life. And I know how to do that, but it's expensive. So I just want to mention that if my Patreon page gets over $100, then that's something that I'll be able to do. And because of all these people who may have scrolled by, because I don't know how long this is gonna take, that might actually be a possibility. I mean, I'm getting a new patron with every video now, so I'll get there eventually. So if you can support me, then the Patreon link is down in the description below. If not, totally cool. Hey, here's a lightsaber! I know the crystal doesn't quite make sense here because it should be a lot closer to the emitter, but it makes the broken end look cooler. It's just one of those things that happens in filmmaking, like Kylo's face scar moving, or Eleven's tattoo changing position from season 1 to season 2 of Stranger Things. Yeah, it looks cool cinematically is what I'm trying to say. Lastly, I drilled holes in the hilt and attached buttons. Alright! Now you can track down Obi-Wan Kenobi and lose to him way too quickly because you never saw Seven Samurai. See, that was Maul's mistake. If you were a movie buff, you totally would have seen that coming. So I just want to point out, this is just one way of doing this. Another way is to buy a cheap toy, cut it in half, and all you have to do is build some damaged circuits and repaint it. I chose to build it from scratch like this because it's fun. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this build, you can check out any of the hundreds of other DIYs I've got. There's a whole lightsaber playlist. If some of this was confusing, I left some more detailed information about the parts I used and where you can find them in the description down below, including links to Patreon, Etsy, all the social medias for this channel, the typical starving artist stuff. Oh, hey, this whole thing was inspired because I was watching Clone Wars on Star Wars Day, so let me know what your favorite Clone Wars prop is down in comments down below. Said down twice. Nice. Jake out. Out of cardboard. Oh no. Okay, that can't be a tension fit.